My flower business has expanded. My finances are peaceful. My boundaries are firm. I share my life with someone who values honesty, not access. Meanwhile, those who lived on entitlement are working to repay debt and rebuild from consequences they once mocked. Here's the truth I learned the hard way. Boundaries are not cruelty. They are self-respect, and greed always charges interest. Before I end this, I want to say something to anyone watching who is still trapped in the "maybe it's my fault" loop. It's not selfish to protect what you built. It's not mean to stop financing people who disrespect you. And you don't need a perfect plan to start. Just one clean decision. No more access without accountability. I didn't win because I was louder. I won because I got organized, stayed calm, and let paperwork speak today. If you're going through a breakup, a divorce, or a family that treats you like an ATM, save records and build your support system. Talk to a qualified professional if you need legal or financial guidance, and choose safety over pride. If this story helped you feel less alone, join our community. Hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Share this video with a friend who needs boundaries today, and comment, "I choose me," if you're ready to start your second act. My flower business has expanded. My finances are peaceful. My boundaries are firm. I share my life with someone who values honesty, not access. Meanwhile, those who lived on entitlement are working to repay debt and rebuild from consequences they once mocked. Here's the truth I learned the hard way. Boundaries are not cruelty. They are self-respect, and greed always charges interest. Before I end this, I want to say something to anyone watching who is still trapped in the "maybe it's my fault" loop. It's not selfish to protect what you built. It's not mean to stop financing people who disrespect you. And you don't need a perfect plan to start. Just one clean decision. No more access without accountability. I didn't win because I was louder. I won because I got organized, stayed calm, and let paperwork speak today. If you're going through a breakup, a divorce, or a family that treats you like an ATM, save records and build your support system. Talk to a qualified professional if you need legal or financial guidance, and choose safety over pride. If this story helped you feel less alone, join our community. Hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Share this video with a friend who needs boundaries today, and comment, "I choose me," if you're ready to start your second act. In the suffocating dark, pain sharpened Emily's thoughts. Her leg throbbed, time dissolved, and fear pressed in. She searched her pockets and found her phone still alive. At the bottom of the contact list was a name she had avoided for 20 years, Dad. Her voice shook as she called. Silence, then a low breath, then urgency. She explained everything in broken sentences. He did not ask questions. He asked for an address. In that moment, the story tilted. Emily realized she had never been powerless. She had chosen distance, choosing a quiet life over inheritance and influence. Help was already moving while she whispered apologies to the dark. If this turning point surprised you, comment 6 below. The lock still held, the pain still burned, but certainty replaced panic. The night began, betrayal shifted, and Emily understood she would not be leaving alone again. The steel door burst open not with panic, but precision. Men moved fast, voices low, lights cutting through the dark. Emily was lifted carefully, wrapped in warmth, the pain finally acknowledged. At the center of it all stood her father, calm, controlled, unmistakably in command. In minutes, doctors were summoned, orders carried out, threats dissolved. Only then did Emily grasp what she had avoided her entire adult life. Her father was not just influential. He led a vast, disciplined network that operated through fear and loyalty alike. The truth reframed her past. She had not lived quietly because she was weak, but because she refused this world. Her mother had chosen distance to protect her, raising her away from violence. Tonight's suffering was the price of choosing normalcy over power, and the shield she once rejected had finally returned. Recovery forced stillness, but Emily's mind moved faster than ever. From a hospital bed she listened, learned and planned. Her father offered swift vengeance. She refused. Rage would end him quickly, but justice would end him completely. When she returned home, she wore forgiveness like armor. She apologized, accepted excuses, and played the part of the wounded wife seeking peace. Meanwhile, she copied files, traced transfers, photographed messages, and logged dates. She spoke to attorneys quietly, auditors discreetly, doctors formally. Each step built a record no threat could erase. Daniel mistook silence for surrender and grew careless, bragging, lying, signing. Emily waited. Control replaced trembling. Precision replaced shouting. She understood then that power is patience applied with clarity. By choosing law over fists, truth over spectacle, she began dismantling the life he thought untouchable, piece by piece, until consequences would arrive undeniable and final inevitable. The night arrived polished and loud, a gala meant to celebrate success. Emily stood beside Daniel, calm, smiling, steady. When the lights dimmed, she stepped forward and let the truth speak. Screens filled with dates, transfers, messages, and contracts, proof of affairs, embezzlement, and shell accounts tied to his firm. Gasps rippled, partners froze, phones lifted. Daniel's confidence drained as auditors confirmed every line. Investors walked out, sponsors pulled names. What private arguments never could, daylight accomplished in minutes. Accountability took shape in real time. Security escorted him away while regulators announced inquiries. The company's stock staggered, then slid. Emily didn't shout, she narrated facts. If you believe truth is stronger than revenge, hey bin luan, sao ben duoi. As applause faded into stunned silence, collapse followed momentum. The damage wasn't theatrical, it was structural, irreversible, and earned by choices long denied. Across the room, consequences finally converged. With the company unraveling, files surfaced that had been buried for decades. Emily followed a paper trail her father opened, and the truth struck deeper than betrayal. Her mother's death, long labeled an accident, traced back to the same families now scrambling under investigation. Permits forged, witnesses silenced, payouts disguised as donations, patterns repeated with chilling familiarity. Emily read hospital logs, zoning records, and a faded police memo, and felt grief sharpen into purpose. This was not only about Daniel, it was about a woman who chose integrity and paid with her life. The collapse unfolding wasn't coincidence, it was overdue. Years of restraint and silence gained meaning as justice stretched backward, naming harms that had never been answered. Emily steadied herself, understanding the scope had widened. What she pursued now wasn't vengeance for a marriage, but accountability for a history that demanded truth at last. Confronted with what her father truly controlled, Emily paused. Power sat within reach, stained and efficient, asking to be inherited. She refused. Instead, she negotiated terms with prosecutors, opened ledgers, and authorized full cooperation. Routes were shut, fronts dissolved, enforcers dismissed, assets were converted, taxes paid, victims compensated. What survived was rebuilt as a regulated security and logistics firm, audited and transparent. The decision was not mercy for abusers, it was mercy for the future. Emily knew bloodshed would only mint new ghosts and new debts. By choosing transformation, she broke the rhythm that had claimed her mother and tempted her father. The work was tedious, public, and unforgiving, yet it held weight. Violence had once been currency, now compliance was. In rooms once ruled by fear, contracts replaced threats. Ending the cycle required patience, courage, and a willingness to be watched by all involved. With the machinery cleaned and monitored, Emily turned outward. She restructured boards, published audits, and invited regulators to sit in daylight. Profits were capped and rerouted, restitution funds for displaced families, scholarships for trades, safety upgrades for sites once ignored. She met victims, listened without defenses, and signed checks that acknowledged harm without excuses. Internally, whistleblowers were protected, bonuses tied to safety, and contracts written plain. Her own life followed suit, therapy appointments kept, friendships rebuilt, boundaries enforced. Success, she learned, was stewardship. Headlines faded, but clinics opened, homes reopened, and trust returned slowly. The work demanded consistency, not spectacle. By choosing responsibility, Emily measured victory by what recovered. Livelihood stabilized, risks reduced, and a culture changed enough to endure scrutiny. What she built could be examined, criticized, and improved. Proof that redemption is practical when power accepts limits and chooses repair over erasure for generations ahead. Looking back, Emily understood that endings can be chosen. She released the need to punish and kept the duty to protect. Justice replaced revenge. Truth replaced fear. Her story closes not with applause, but with steadiness, a life rebuilt, a legacy corrected, and a future widened for others. Power, she learned, is safest when shared and supervised, and love survives only where respect is enforced. If this story resonated, support the channel, like the video, subscribe for more moral stories, and share it with someone who needs courage today. Comment what choice you would make when tested. Every view helps bring stories about accountability, healing, and real consequences to light. Thank you for standing for justice over violence, patience over rage, and repair over ruin. The dawn after betrayal is quiet, but it lasts for generations ahead.